Welcome to Lead Where You Live, Tucson Voices in Leadership. I'm Jamie Leon-Guerrero.
And I'm Raysun Frost. This podcast is all about real people leading with heart in our community.
We believe leadership isn't about titles, it's about action. And Tucson is full of people making a difference in big and small ways.
Join us as we chat with inspiring voices who are showing up, stepping up, and shaping Tucson's future.
Let's get into it. Welcome to Lead Where You Live podcast. I'm Jamie Leon-Guerrero.
And I'm Raysun Frost.
And we're happy to have our guest, Julie Bonner, with us today.
Hi. I'm happy to be here. Good to see you guys.
Well, Julie, we're going to introduce you here, is a creative with over 20 years of experience in design, art, and business. She teaches entrepreneurship at the University of Arizona and design at Pima Community College and is a Greater Tucson Leadership alum. Through her company, Julie Originals, Julie creates award-winning marketing and design solutions. She loves supporting her community through creativity, connection, and purposeful leadership.
Welcome again, Julie. So tell us and our listeners who you are without all your titles and accolades.
Okay. The simplest answer would be creative. That's my identity. And then I feel like, although it sounds like I do many things, it all funnels under creativity. I'm a creative. Should I elaborate a little more, or is that succinct?
If you want to.
Okay.
How do you define creative? A creative.
Yeah, creative. Well, one thing is I do think everyone is creative. Sometimes it's not as obvious in other ways. I've always been an artist. So when I was 3, I was like, I'm going to be an artist. And so I've always been an artist, but I also sort of work in different mediums. So graphic design and then fine art. And now I'm teaching others how to be successful as a creative too.
Nice. And tell us a little bit about where your name comes from.
Okay, this might be kind of obvious, but my LLC, this one's Julie Originals. Where it actually comes from, besides the obvious, is when I was young, I used to design custom-made greeting cards for my friends and family. And so I would always illustrate them. And then years later, when did I really start? It's been a while. I've been using Julie Originals as my brand name. Previously, I used a more corporate sounding name for my business, and I realized that people really just liked working with me. And so let's get away from the corporate sounding stuff and bring it back to the personal experience of when you work with a local creative and what that offers to you.
Nice. Does Julie come from somewhere in your family, like your actual name? Is it named after your grandparents or anything?
Not at all. Well, the one thing I would say is both my parents are teachers, and I know that when they were thinking of some names, they had to go through all their students over 20, 30 years, and think about which student wasn't maybe a pain in the butt sometimes. And so I think that helped narrow down a few names. So that's how they arrived at Julie.
Nice.
So teaching runs in the family.
Yeah, which is funny because when I was young, I said, I'll never be a teacher. And then I actually started teaching kids when I was in high school. So yeah, quickly that changed.
I love it.
That's really cool.
Tell us about what you love most about where you live.
Sure. I love living here in Tucson. I've been here, I feel like it's maybe around 23 years. I'm from the East Coast. I'd say the number one thing I appreciate is our community and that sense of friendliness and welcoming each other and supporting each other. That right before here, I was in Philly, and just totally different feeling, right? Different pace for sure. And I did like coming here and just feeling that warm environment, literally. So the sun and the people, I appreciate it.
Totally get where you're coming from. I lived in State College, Pennsylvania as well. You're right. Tucson is unique and special and warm. That's such a great word. The warmth really does embody what Tucson is.
Thank you. Yeah. How long have you been here then?
I've been here 6 years, not nearly.
Cool.
Yes.
Great.
You're almost at a quarter of a century in Tucson. So
Wow. Yeah.
14 years for me. So
For you? Okay.
I call Tucson home. So.
Oh yeah. For
Like,
sure. Yeah,
definitely.
I think I will always live here. I love traveling, but I love Tucson and our kids go to school here and it's just so fun.
Mhm. Same.
Yeah.
What is something that most people don't know about you?
Something? I mean, there's definitely a few things. I think people are overwhelmed sometimes with my interests and things I do. One thing that I should have shared is that I'm actually adopted. And so that was even something interesting about with my name is that I believe I had a different name actually originally. And
Mm.
so when you guys asked me that, actually I was thinking about that. So I was adopted in New York and it was a closed adoption, but years later I actually found my birth mom and we keep in touch. And so that's really fun. Definitely a long story, but something that not everyone knows.
We'll talk I wanna learn more about that when we coffee.
Yeah.
Yes, sounds good for sure.
Yeah. Well, and that's really cool that you were able to have to learn about your birth parents and that your parents were able to give you a name that was something special. I just think it kind of is full circle that you now have
Yeah.
this name that came from like reviewing their names as teachers and
Yeah.
now you have this full circle in terms of your name. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, so, lead where you live. We kind of
Yes.
are asking about a little bit about, like, how leadership shows up. So we wanna know, how does leadership show up for you kind of personally, professionally, or in, like, your Tucson community life? Your time, talent, treasure, and ties.
Yeah, I think I would when I think of leadership, I also think of mentorship. So, um one thing is important for me is I aspire to be a mentor for all the students I'm teaching in all of these different classes. And I really try to infuse the business side of being a creative. It's not always something that comes in a specific course. And so I try to go back in time and be empathetic, like many of us artists are, and think about when I was younger, what were some of those pieces that I didn't necessarily learn in class, but had to learn kind of the hard way? And then how can I be a leader and mentor up and comers on, what to do, what not to do, and share real world examples of sort of best practices so that they can have maybe even a more successful experience.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I think that's really cool because we definitely don't always think about when you have your being creative, as you say, is also running your business, right? No matter anyone who's a small business owner out there who's watching, you think about that leadership aspect. Who, taught you? Was it just having to learn through your own experiences? And the fact that you're able to give them that leg up and a step ahead is really a phenomenal part of being a great mentor. I love that. And I would actually really like to know just a little bit more about how you feel beyond being creative and doing something as a leader that most maybe creative leaders don't do, which is teaching the business side. How does leadership show up for you in the aspect of your creative side?
I think I would say how that shows up is like when working with clients, we have a real if there's enough number one, like timeline wise, if there's enough time with a project to actually really do an awesome job. And for example, a campaign, getting in there early enough to help really besides just maybe like a design portion or this piece, like be I'm pretty strategic and I love thinking about things from like a bird's eye view from the beginning. And so I think one lesson kind of for everyone is sort of bringing that creative sort of marketing design person on sooner. They may think of things that you haven't thought of, and they certainly should ask you some really good questions in the beginning to really grasp more about, your objective and what you're trying to do. So I think helping lead that process instead of just sort of sit back and like just have some notes sent to you,
Yeah.
I think is really important. I think that it doesn't always get recognized is that is what like a creative leader can bring to the table
Mhm.
is that strategic thinking. And I would have to say connections. So if you don't know a photographer and we need a photo shoot, I know five, right? And if you need just like, so, and you guys have that building relationships, and bringing that to the table is also an important piece.
So, if I were to sum up how leadership shows up for you, it would be I heard three things, three distinct things. One is being a mentor. You said doing strategy, but I heard it as being a guide. Like you're there to be a guide for your clients. And then a connector. Like those are
Yeah,
three ways
1000%.
leadership shows up for you.
1000%. You probably it's like digging into my top strengths from GTL here.
It takes a lot of work. Like, again, you know, when you're working with, like, even just like a graphic artist or something, like, sometimes when someone just sends you those bullet points, you're like, sure, I can create this thing, but like, what's the why behind these, right?
Yeah.
Then it
Yeah.
can probably fuel that creativity even more.
Yes. And actually, I'm going to give props here to Jamie because a few years ago, I worked with Justin to do the rebrand for GTL. And I just love how the logo is on everything. And it's so fun to see it in use. And in fact, I'm going to snag some photos that I've been seeing and add it back onto my portfolio page because it's so fun. I designed it and then handed off for you
Yeah.
guys to use, and I just love, even at the last event, just seeing how you guys are using it, and makes me really happy. So great job bringing it to life.
Yeah. I'm big on, like, again, it's that part of that rebranding. Like, we change logos and it's like, it should be everywhere. Like, on all of the documents at hand. I'm just like big on, like, throw a logo on it. Takes 2 seconds.
Yes,
Helps
yes.
create your brand. You're creating a visual brand for you everywhere you
Yeah.
go. And showing up in the community, which leads me back to my next part of this question, which is how does leadership show up for you in the Tucson community? Or how do you show up as a leader in the Tucson community?
I would say number one, I show up because you'll see me at many community events. So just like very simply, I tried to support different organizations that I believe in. And obviously there's so many here. So I think it's sometimes having to be strategic about what you have time for and aligning yourself. I think also to make the most impact. So I do believe like you can join organizations or be a part, but then can you really take action and more than just showing up for a meeting occasionally. So I'm a big believer in it's like what you put into it is what you'll get out of
Yeah, that's great
Yeah.
advice.
And it's event season. So there are going to be a lot
it.
of
So many.
opportunities to go out and support. And actually, speaking of mentorship, met with one this week and they were telling me how they had to put almost like personal boundaries because like you can overstretch yourself so much. They're like one nonprofit event a week. And I'm like, I am stealing that. I love that because you just sometimes can't go to you. I wish I could go to every single one every night of the week and be fine, but oh my
Yes.
god. So I
Yes.
love that a mentor of mine is like, "Nope, this year it's one a year. I mean, one a week."
Yeah.
And, like weekends, I'm not doing anything. I don't know, personal boundaries, but still showing up for your community and especially the ones that you really, really love and support. So,
Right. And if
yeah.
you can't go, we all reshare something on our LinkedIn. You can do like those easy reshares, and then some of them you get to go in person.
Yeah.
It's good
Yeah.
to figure out what works for you.
So strategize and show up. For you personally, it means strategizing and showing up in places where you can have an impact and not just at surface level. You want to go a
Yeah.
little bit deeper.
I want to build relationships. That's like
Yeah.
1000%. It's a win-win. I feel like I get to help a lot of people, but then if I ever need anything, I probably know someone that can help me figure out the best solution for something. So it's a win-win. Yeah.
Back to that connector piece,
Yeah.
being a leader by being a connector in our community. Yeah,
Yeah.
great. We are going to move on to our right where you are moment. And this is a chance to kind of pause and reflect on how growth, leadership, or clarity has shown up in your real life right where you are. And we are going to ask you a question first, and then we will have to answer afterwards. And we haven't, I mean, I guess I've seen the question, but we haven't even prepped ourselves with the question either. So we're all going to be on the spot for this. Okay.
I love improv. Let's go. Let's go.
That's right. What did your younger self believe leadership looked like, and how do you see it differently now?
It's tricky. That's tricky. I believe, My younger self admired all the leaders. And I think I got to experience some of that in school. Even when you're younger and you have to do group projects, you start developing those skills a little bit. Like, here, and then I think it's just like the designer part of me coming through. So you kind of get to practice when you're younger. As I'm growing up, I think there's different types of leaders now that I'm older, and that some leaders are sort of self-designated and maybe not always there for the right intentions, but I think there's many other leaders that are there because they inspire other people, and it less of a forceful power situation and more of a you're inspiring others type of leader. So that's one thing I think the perspective that I have now that I'm older than when I was young.
Yeah. I'll go next because my answer actually has a lot of stuff related to what you just said, which was
Okay.
that so I was a straight A student. So I always thought, the teachers like did what they said. They were great leaders. And then I got to undergraduate school and I had this organic chem teacher who very much was of the model that the way to lead in the class and to get students to excel was to make it so competitive that it was like, you can't do this. Like that kind of a leader where there's no way you're going to do this to try and get you to do it. Right. And I almost quit the class. Like I hated it. And I went to my mentor and she was like, okay, Raysun. And she basically had to talk to me about how there's different leadership styles. And while this is one method, I can just ignore it, do the class for me and focus on my personal self for the class and pretty much ignore him. And so that to me was kind of the pivotal point and what
Yes.
I do see differently now, which is that what you were saying, there are so many different styles of leadership out there, and you have to figure out what's going to work for you and surround yourself by the people who may be a little bit different, but who can empower you without like knocking you down. So I totally agree with that perspective of different leadership styles and finding the ones that help support you. And there are people out there who love you know, you can't do it kind of leadership them, but it doesn't
The
motivate
boot
me.
camp style. Yeah, for
You
sure.
can't style. That's what it
Yeah.
was. Exactly. Yeah.
I think for me, listening to you guys share, I feel like I grew up in such like a strict household and everything I did was like super structured and I was just like kind of correlating like my discipline strength. It's like my number 2. So I really like structure and like rules and I follow ABs. I don't skip a rule. So I'm like very, very structured. And I grew up, I guess, with like leadership. Like I had a strict mom, like dancing, playing sports, dancing. Like you kind of had to follow all the rules. And now as I'm like a late in life leader, I think, because like I'm just like really, I mean, I hang out with all of these amazing leaders every day. So I'm really understanding that like you can be strict, right? And like for some people it works like that. But I do think for me, how I see it differently now is just like I really like to lead by example. Like, I don't like the leaders. I don't thrive in those environments where you're just like being told to do something anymore, right? Because that's what I grew up with. Like, just do the thing and you have to do it. Um, I'm just really fortunate and lucky that like Justin and I, like, again, we're a strength based leadership organization, and his style is really just like, let me and staff just kind of go out and do what we're supposed to do. But because he knows I need that structure and that discipline and that focus, he has to, doesn't have to, but every now and then it'll just be like a quick check, like, hey, like maybe you're in your basement of this strength, or you know what I mean? Just to like check me a little bit. And then it kind of like, ooh, course correct real quick. Cause like I was veering off. So I really like just kind of the trusting and just really leading by example, trusting that your people are going to do the thing because you know they're capable, and then just quick check if they need a little help. So I do think it can be a little bit softer and a little bit kinder from what I saw as a kid, but I thrive in kind of both. So it doesn't really like as long as the work gets done, I think I like it kinder, but like sometimes like I don't know, that adaptability part too, right? It's I don't
Yeah.
know. I just
Yeah.
really like letting people thrive and like just lead on their own. That I think can be so much more impactful. That quiet mentorship, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't even know they're doing it. They're just like making you think you decided to do this thing on your own and it's like, look at what
Nice.
I did. And but
Yeah,
they were
that's awesome.
silently, and I think that's where I am too. Like I'm like that cheer, kind of that behind the scenes leader where I want everybody to succeed. So I'm gonna be like cheering you on from behind and like whispering, like, you can do it, you can do it. Like go and like I don't know. I like that style where people just believe in themselves and they don't need to prove to anybody that they can do this thing. And then at the end of the day, it's like, wow, look at all of these amazing things everyone's done. So I don't know. Kind leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had someone recently describe to me the type of leader that they wanted for their boss to be a leader who sets guide rails. Like this is what made me think of that you were talking about. Like you've got the guide rails, maybe they reinforce those guide rails, but they let you drive in the lane and do your stuff, right? And I thought that was a really good imagery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's nice.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I love this part. I love kind of our right where you are moment. It gets sometimes
We
they get really deep. So they're really cool.
got to think
But
on our toes too.
My chemistry teacher was also the football coach, so that was extra fun.
well, speaking of keeping you on your toes, we're gonna move into kind of our this or that, kind of our quick, like our fast lightning round,
Sure.
where there's like quick yes or no answers, really quick answers, and let's see what happens. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Being on the dancing or be the one dancing or the one watching?
Jamie may know this from Pat, but I love dance. I will be in the dance floor,
Good.
5,000%.
What's the silliest thing you've ever done?
Blah. Sorry. Oh, this is hard. Karaoke on Thursdays. Like I act like a fool. That's it.
That's the only way to karaoke.
Yes. Yeah. And that's like it's my therapy. It's the best.
Swimming pool or no swimming pool?
It depends if I have to take care of it. Like at my friend's house, Amy's house, yes, swimming pool, but like none of mine.
What's a childhood game you think should make a comeback?
You know what's sweet? My dad used to call me Pumpkin. Like, do you mean like that? Like a nick
Game. A
a
childhood game.
game. I think it said name.
Yes, yes. I'll
Oh,
take the childhood names though, you
yeah.
know.
I was like, oh, like I haven't heard him say that in a long time. Childhood game. You know what's just cute, and the kids still play though, is Candyland. And we
Mhm.
joke because my mom would play with my son often, and she would always end up in Nana's nut house, and my son would just die laughing. Like at 4, he was like, "That's hilarious," and then he'd always beat her too. So Candyland, it's cool.
I think I know the answer to this next one, but mentoring or being independent?
I mean, well, okay, I like all of the above, but no, I think I'm a mentor for sure. I like mentoring. Yes.
What is one non-material thing you cherish most?
You mean like, can I say like my family?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah,
Love
okay. So
that.
my family.
Good one. Trying new restaurants or sticking to the favorites?
Trying new restaurants. And now my husband sticking to the favorites. Yeah. And actually sticking to Mexican food. That's like that would be like it's kind of funny. He would die like he would overdose on chips and salsa, I think, with that lettuce. So I need to just like put in a salad in there somewhere. Yeah.
What is a skill that you wish you had but don't?
Saying no. No, I'm just kidding.
I think everyone's
I do
working on that.
I definitely do sometimes, but
Speaking of Mexican food, carne asada or pollo asada?
carne asada.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you for doing our lightning round. And now we come to the part where you get to promote a special cause, a project, an organization, or any event. Anything that you would like to mention at this time.
Yeah,
Sure.
so as I mentioned, I'm an artist, and so I paint and then I sell art gifts with my work. So I would probably suggest if you want to see my art, what that looks like, you go to julieoriginals.com. You can view my art, and then if you're a business that needs help with your design or marketing, you can always check out some case studies and work I've done for clients at juliebonnerdesign.com.
Wonderful. Yeah. Next time we see you, we'll have to have a little sample of your art. See your
Oh, yeah. In this vacation home, there's 5 murals, so I should have taken you on a tour. They're in here. Yeah.
right up there. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Julie. We have had so much fun having you on Lead Where You Live, and we can't wait to share the world with your episode.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you.
you. That's a wrap on today's episode of Lead Where You Live. We hope you're feeling inspired by our guest's story and the impact they're making right here in Tucson.
If you love this conversation, help us spread the word. Share this episode, subscribe on YouTube, and tag a local leader who should be featured next.
Because leadership starts with showing up, and we know Tucson is full of incredible people doing just that.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Lead Where You Live.